the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
George,
Here.
Julie,
Here.
Nancy,
Here.
Kristen,
Here.
Eileen, here.
Let the record show we have a quorum. Minutes of the February 3rd meeting.
I move that we approve the minutes of the February 3rd regular meeting.
I'll support.
It's moved and supported that we approve the minutes of the February 3rd meeting. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Approval of the February 15th special meeting.
I'll make a motion that we approve those minutes.
I'll support it.
Moved and supported that we approve the February 15th special meeting. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Approval of the 23rd meeting.
I move that we approve the minutes of the February 23rd special meeting.
Moved and supported. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Treasurer's report.
I'll make a motion that we approve the treasurer's report and placement of
I'll support.
Moved by Kristen, supported by Nancy. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Public comment. Mr. Hooks, I believe I'll let you come up on that.
Good evening, folks. My name is Orman Hook, and I'm running for the open seat in the 102nd District. Currently, Phil Potvin fills that seat, but his term will be ending at the end of 2016, and I filed and I've been working to fill that seat. I've lived in the Central Michigan area most of my adult life. The United States Air Force brought me here in 1971 and stationed me in Kinchlow Air Force Base, right in the middle of a big swamp. And I basically, except for about 5 years, I've lived in Central Michigan all of my adult life. And I've lived in the Big Rapids, Reed City area for about 24 years. I just retired on Monday from working at the Mecosta Osceola Intermediate School District. And I've served as a school psychologist or a special education administrator the vast majority of my life. The job in special education is really to help students who've never really had the legal rights or the educational opportunities up until about 1975 to be fully included in school. It's a job where you have to stick up for the student, maybe against their parent or maybe against the school, but the child is your candidate, and you're working to help them to have the best access to education. The 102nd District, just as a reminder, is Mecosta County, the western half of Osceola County, and all of Wexford County. I consider it a service, a continuation of the type of service that I've been doing all my adult career, advocating and sticking up for other folks. I consider serving as a representative in that same vein. It's not a title, it's not a crown, it's a duty, it's a service. As an adult looking back, you know, some of the folks at our age, our life in America, we had great opportunity. But our children and our grandchildren don't necessarily have the same opportunities that we have. I just know that in my job, I've basically been frozen for the last 10 years because the economy has been stalled for the last 10 years. And we need a better life for our children, and that's something that also is motivating me. I believe that our leaders in Lansing have kind of forgotten that they govern by our consent. Remember, the Declaration of Independence says that they rule by the consent of the governed, and we're reminded that again just before the beginning of the Constitution, the preamble. It starts out with "We the people." All over America, people like you are meeting in small groups, governing yourselves, and that's really one of the foundations of America. Our leaders have kind of forgotten that, because remember back on May 5th when we voted basically 80-20 that we didn't want that new tax on our roads, even though there was argued by many that we had that money in our budget. And what did they do? Come June or July, they overrode our wishes because they wanted money that was in the budget not to be spent on roads, because they knew we wanted the roads. They're finding other places to spend that money. The Flint water crisis shows like the weakness of our bureaucracies, and that was a giant bureaucratic mix-up, more than a mix-up. They want to fix the Detroit public schools, who are going broke. Detroit public schools are claiming that after April they won't have any money to operate, and that's basically accurate. The first proposal the governor had was to take $1,500 away from every classroom of all the other schools in the state to fix that. Another layer of bureaucracy, another dumping of money into Detroit public schools is not going to fix that. I worked in education, not only in the civilian world, but 4 years in the United States Air Force. I was in the education office. No matter how much money they have, which is a lot more than our local schools have, about $5,000 or $6,000 more than Chippewa Hills or Reed City or Morley Stanwood or Big Rapids has per classroom. They even have more monies in their classrooms per pupil than even the rich districts around Detroit. So it's not a matter of not having enough money. I'm dedicated totally to the principles of free market and not crony capitalism. What's crony capitalism? Most of us have been to Jay's Sporting Goods. And I actually was in Jay's Sporting Goods when it was just his garage. He had like thousands of guns in this garage. How could they all fit? And then he just built this wonderful business. But he started that. Many years later, down in southern Michigan, the state gave a lot of money in tax abatements to Cabela's. So now Jay's has to compete against Cabela's, but Cabela's is getting tax money from us to help them function. That's what I mean by crony capitalism and giving special treatment to others. But I'm definitely dedicated to living within our means. I was born in Maine. My dad was a sharecropper. He cut pulpwood up in Maine. We lived in an old rundown farmhouse. I went to a 2-room schoolhouse through 1st, 2nd, and 3rd grade. Then I entered civilization, and I was way behind. I think they were going to hold me back, but since I was the oldest kid in 4th grade, they didn't do that. Whatever I have become of myself is because of hard work, working my way through college, serving in the Air Force, using my GI Bill to get all the degrees I have. I have several, but that's not really important. But what is important is that I work and you work and other people work. Definitely dedicated to the rule of law, our First Amendment, our Second Amendment, all of our amendments. I'm very strong supporter of our families and our churches, and I want to thank you for this opportunity to chat with you. I'll hand out my literature, but again, my name is Ormond Hook, and if you look me up at ormondhook.com, that's my website for this 102nd District. I'm the only Ormond Hook in the United States. So that really helps. Everybody else can bump me out when they search. And I'm trying to get around to every township. You know, I have about 50 stops to make. I don't know if I'll be back here. How many of you knew Ron and Alice Selfridge that live here? They are very, very good friends of ours, and Ron passed away about a year ago, and I attended his funeral. They were my biggest connection to Chippewa Lake, so I hope I can find some others. But I just want to thank you. When I was serving over in Barrington, I drove right by this corner here. every Thursday and watch this really nice house right down here where the contractors were there for like every day for like 2 years, making this gorgeous, gorgeous place. So, that's my connection to you folks, and I thank you very much.
Thank you.
Did you say the eastern half or the western half of Osceola
The
Town?
western,
Okay.
it's western, so it's
It's-
Reed City, Tustin,
Go
Leroy,
back.
Ashton. Anyone that would like these, you can pass them around, they're real slippery. It's the only Norman hook anywhere.
Do you want one too?
Thank you. Any other comments?
George, I have something. If I may approach and give you guys something here. I see my other two things I want to talk to you about, that are on the agenda. If there's an issue I want to talk to you guys about, we'll give you that, so you save some writing for the minutes. There you go. I only got 2 extra copies, so if anybody wants one, I'll be glad to give it to them, but because everybody doesn't have a copy, I'm just gonna read what I have here. Our township financial reports show that in 2015, Township Board compensated fellow officers and hired help nearly $44,000 for performing unspecified additional clerical work for the township. Just to give everybody perspective, that amount is nearly equal to the entire Township Board's salaries and wages combined. Basically, we're doubling our expenses to run the township. I'm pretty concerned about that since the Census Bureau says we've lost probably 25% of our population since 2012. And that figure is 339% higher than it was in 2012. I requested the Township Board perform audits as required by law to assure that additional compensation is not being paid for work that lies within the statutory duties, which are already being paid for. That would include someone wants to help somebody else out, perform part of their work, we're already paying for that work. So if somebody's
Norm, are
just
you saying
helping
that
out.
we don't have an audit? Is that what you're saying? Because you're wrong. You're totally
George,
wrong.
let me finish, please. That enough additional clerical work exists from each individual fund to justify the amount that we're paying out. Nearly half of that compensation, 20,000 of it, was paid just from the sewer fund. I'd like to be assured that all additional township work is compensated based on some kind of documented dates, hours, type of work performed, and a reasonable hourly wage is being paid on strictly an as-needed basis. And when I say that, some of this work seems to be treated as a salary. I mean, I've seen it all the way through there. We had the community building clerical, the same amount every month. We have, Julie, you had some work there being paid $400 twice a month. This went on for a couple of years. You would expect to see fluctuations. If it's paid on an hourly basis, I'd expect to see when the sewer bills all come due, you're gonna have extra workload, that's fine. But I mean, you'd expect to see that go down after September, October through February. There is no revenues being collected by the sewer. And I don't understand why that just stays level like a salary all year long. I'm not accusing anybody of anything. I'm just saying I would really appreciate it if an audit was done by the entire board. And if you'll turn to page 2, I know sometimes things, you just look at reports, it gets lost in the maze, but I put it together for you folks in case you haven't sat back and really analyzed this. And there's a chart that'll show you the compensation that's been paid. If you look at the bottom, 2012, that's estimated. I only had 9 months of data. I extrapolated to 12 months. I think I'm pretty close. $842 a month for clerical on average. 2015, actual figures from the financial reports, $3,652 a month for clerical work. Just additional work outside your statutory duties. So all I'm asking is, would you please look at that, consider doing an audit once in a while, and double checking this stuff. Thank you very much.
Any other public comment? If not, we'll go on to township business.
I do have something
Yeah.
I want to talk about, I don't know when it's
Yeah, right
appropriate,
now.
but
Go ahead.
right now, okay. All right, my name's Brian Rolls, and I was in the office here a couple of days ago. just asking about ORVs and use on the roads here in the Chippewa Lake area. And I got some mixed responses, but don't feel bad, because after I talked to you guys, I went to the sheriff's department, and I got a lot of confusion there too. So I actually got an interview with the sheriff himself, and I did get some straight answers. So I'd like to tell you what I found, and then also what I'd like to propose here too. So first of all, the Mecosta County Ordinance 2011-1 is an ordinance that was automatically approved through all the townships through Mecosta County. All right, and that allows ORV vehicles to use the roads, and there's a bunch of stipulations such as a maximum of 25 miles an hour, and a licensed person or a person 12 years old or older under direct supervision of an adult that has a license. The vehicle must have a headlight and tail light. It must ride on the side of the road. May not be operated on state or federal roads. Must have an ORV sticker. The slow moving vehicle signs don't mean a thing. And DOT helmets must be worn unless an approved roll bar is installed and seat belts are used. Now, while you can ride an air cushioned vehicle down the middle of the road here, you cannot drive a golf cart on the road. Golf carts are excluded because there's stipulation that the throttle must go down to idle when you let your foot off the gas. On a golf cart, it quits. The engine quits itself. So golf carts are excluded. So anytime you see a golf cart on the road, they're illegal. Now, I just thought it was funny that you could ride an air cushioned vehicle down the middle of the road, but you can't drive a golf cart. We can, however, approve an ordinance or, I guess an article. It's 257.657A, and that specifically pertains to golf carts on village, city, or township streets. And I'm not gonna go through all this, but it's something as far as, we can approve that, and then golf carts are allowed just as all the other ORV vehicles are allowed.
What was that article number?
It's 257.657A, and it's part of the Michigan Vehicle Code Act 300 of 1949.
Brian, it said it'll allow golf carts on township, village, and what other roads?
City. I can get you copies of this.
Can you?
Yeah, but it's specifically addressed, and a lot of the requirements are the same as the ORV requirements, but it specifically addresses golf carts.
Was there an issue that you couldn't ride on it before? Did somebody get in trouble for riding a golf cart?
Well, I come from Allegan County, and I actually got pulled over my yard. I was on the edge of the road. I was watering pine trees on my own property, but I was not out of the 33 feet of the center of the road right away. And but I wanted to know, because I had my golf cart up here now.
Yeah.
And is it allowed up here? And so I asked a number of questions. And I was amazed that the sheriff's department couldn't give me a straight answer on that until I went to the sheriff himself. He knew it right off. I mean, there was no question there. But I talked to a number of people in the office. But today, if somebody's on the road with a golf cart, they can get pulled over. It's a $500 fine. So that's something I'd rather not do with that. So
I have a question.
My-
Was the golf cart part of a couple years ago when you guys voted, all of Mecosta County voted to do XYZ? Was the golf cart in that?
no, that's the
That's
ordinance that I was talking about.
Oh, okay,
And like I said, it included three-wheel vehicles,
okay.
you name it. It included them all. except for golf carts.
I see.
You know, specifically excluded, there were other things like snowmobiles.
I would support you.
So,
You'd rather we gotta sell our golf cart.
I was under the impression, you know, most of the cops around here that if you're not doing nothing wrong, they're not gonna pull you over, so. I was hoping that wasn't here.
You know, my mom got pulled over on the back
Yeah.
street going to the parade. She was
Yeah.
just coming up to a back street. Being my dad can't walk, they pulled him up there to watch the parade, and Tillman come up behind her and said if she didn't turn it around and take it home, she didn't get a $500 fine.
Yeah, that's one guy,
So,
and, yeah.
but, you know, it's still, today it's wrong to do that.
Yeah.
Right.
So,
Fix it.
should we make it legal? The reason why I make a big deal and I didn't here, or I didn't in Allegan County, is this is more of a resort area, and I would think it's more popular, you know, unless it. The other thing that this talks about is liability, and that it specifically addresses, you should have a significant liability if, you know, if your grandson comes up and he brings a friend and he rolls the golf cart over, better have some insurance covering that.
Anything on that, or? should we just-
I'd like to get the paperwork from Ryan first, so we can have it for our next meeting.
Library report?
February 19th meeting, I attended. The filtering software the library currently uses is no longer going to be updatable. So they gave Marcia the authority to purchase new filtering software. They're also having problems with the hot water heater at the Barrington Library. She's going to get some prices on replacing that. Dick Kuhn actually said that to drain it and it's just not worth it. It's too old. The Barrington branch of the library is now holding Friday night movies that are free to the public at 6 o'clock. They discussed the millage. They're gonna ask for the 1 mil. However, they're not exactly sure what ballot they're gonna put it on. They're gonna discuss it more in April. They received a correspondence via email from Norm Biaggi. The library board will write a letter back to Norm answering his questions and correcting some of the inaccurate figures. They will also send a copy of the letter to the Chippewa Township Board. The library board was asked if they would consider paying half the utilities at the Chippewa branch library, and all members agreed it was a fair request. I am to bring copies of the next current bills to the next library board meeting, which is March 18th. Marcia updated that this time there are 405 Chippewa Township residents with active library cards. According to the library usage that Julie and I have been keeping track of during just our township hours, 26 people were in to use books, 20 people were in to rent movies, 26 people were in to use a computer, 4 people were in to use a copy and fax, and 8 people were in to use the library as a meeting place in the month of February. And that is all I have on the library.
I will move it in place the library report on file.
I'll support.
Moved in support, can we put the library report on file? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Houston. Did you?
Name.
Library district withdrawal question.
I have a question in regards to if this board wanted to withdraw from the district, and he asked me to check with the attorney. He basically sent me the same paperwork that we had back in 2011. It would have to go on the August primary ballot if you wanted to withdraw, because it's got to go before the people of the township, the registered voters of the township. We would have to do a resolution to withdraw. Then the proposal to withdraw would be on the township's next regular election ballot, which is August 2nd. Withdrawal date must not be less than 6 months after the election, which would be then, the withdrawal date would be February 2nd, 2016. Proposal wording needs to be to the county clerk not less than 70 days prior to the August 8th election, which would be May 24th. Must provide a plan for continuing library services for all residents of the township to the library mission.
would still have to continue our payment to the main library over there, is that correct?
That's correct.